Let's run through your Origin squad. We know that we're 35 days out.
We're straight into it.
Yeah, we're going to
Okay.
get straight into it. We're 35 days out, which sounds like a long time, but it's not. Considering injuries are playing a massive part, considering where we think players are going to come back and be in the frame for, and these are all the considerations. So you get someone like the Hammer, and the Hammer is my caveat. I'm not picking the Hammer because there's a chance he's not going to play before the team's picked. So can you pick a player who hasn't played for 6 weeks leading up to Origin?
Oh, I don't think you can pick somebody like the Hammer coming off such a severe hamstring injury. If you are going to pick Hammer, you want to see at least one minimum full game under his belt, but that are yet to be seen. So, do you want my New South Wales side or my Queensland side? I think you do care.
No, New South, they can pick 7 blokes in one position across the park. So we may even save that for next week. But let's go Queensland. Let's go Queensland, yeah.
So Queensland team for me right now.
Hang on, I'm looking at your face. You're disappointed. I reckon you've put a bit of work into the New South Wales
put
team.
Plenty of work into both sides.
Right,
means absolutely nothing to nobody.
Let's go Queensland.
We'll go Queensland. Okay, obviously the most talked about position for Queensland, the number one, and I'm of the belief that Ponga and Reece Walsh cannot be in the team together. I heard comments from Mel Meninga the other night say that they can be. This is just my opinion. My Queensland team, as we speak right now, Kalen Ponga fullback, Xavier Coates on one wing, Valentine Holmes and Selwyn Cobbo.
You're going Ponga as fullback.
I said that.
I know. That's why I've had to stop you and go, hang on, are you suffering from already getting up at 4 a.m. to do 3 hours of radio?
You just hold.
All right. Ponga, fullback.
Well, that's, again...
We think it amazing.
It's an opinion-based thing, right? Ponga fullback, Xavier Coates, Valentine Holmes and Selwyn Cobbo. I thought his form to start the season in the centres has been terrific. In the centres, Murray Taulagi on one wing, Cameron Munster and Daly Cherry-Evans are the halves. Lindsay Collins, front row. Harry Grant to start. I want to see Harry Grant start, not come off the bench. He starts every week for Melbourne. It's time for him to really own that arena in regards to the Origin. Harry Grant to start. Pat Carrigan has gone into the front row position. Obviously down a couple of troops there. No Tino Fa'asu or Mala'awi. Pat Carrigan into the 10. Jaden Sewer, who has been in the arena before, has performed extremely well in the opening 6 rounds, has a great aggression about him, super fit. Sewer into the back row. Jeremiah Nane into the back row. Jermaine Hopgood to come into the lock forward position.
Well, there's a bolter straight up.
Well, there's a bolter.
Jermaine Hopgood from Parramatta.
I think we can see a different style. Jermaine Hopgood got a great appetite for working hard, as do Pat Carrigan. Hopgood, great offload, great pre-line pass, as does Pat Carrigan. I think front row and lock are very similar depending on the style you play, so that's why I'm going with Carrigan up front and Hopgood. They can swap around if need be. Which then goes to the bench. Ben Hunt, well, he's a lock. What he's produced over recent years and from what we've seen in the Queensland jersey in the 14. David Fafita, who, whilst the Titans aren't going good, his numbers are high, his involvement's good. Last year was outstanding. Back row of the year, Dally M back row of the year last year. I don't think he's done anything to hurt his chances. Reuben Cotter on the bench also. Mo Fotuaika. I penciled him in. Now,
I penciled him in round 1.
I'd like to see a little bit more from Mo, but he is there. We are low on front row stocks in Queensland. And Reece Walsh, jersey number 18.
Reece Walsh, jersey number 18. All right, let's run through that squad again very quickly, just 1 to 18, just to let it sink in.
Ponga, Coates, Holmes, Cobbo, Taulagi, Munster, Cherry-Evans, Collins, Grant, Carrigan, Sewer, Nane, Hopgood, Hunt, Fafita, Cotter, Fotuaika.
Wow.
All right, that is Corey Parker's, at round 7, that is Corey Parker's Origin team. Are you in favour of that? Should Billy Slater get him on to the selection panel? Lockie, Gene Miles, Billy Slater. They are the selectors now. Corey Parker, 13 13 55 0467 736 736. Matt's already jumping on you. Sorry, Cozza. Glad you're not picking the Queensland Origin team. Hopgood and Taulagi. I'll leave it to the experts.
Yeah, that's all well and good, Matt, but don't just come with a criticism. Come with some sort of solution as well. Who are you putting in instead?
Because I thought it was going to be fairly boring, you and I, because we were going to agree, but straight away off the bat, no. I've got Reece Walsh as the number one. Kalen Ponga, on the back of what he did last year with Newcastle, yeah, he's got to be there somewhere in that squad. But not after what we see Reece Lightning do, what he did against the Raiders. It's just a one-man excitement machine. And as much as Kalen Ponga can do that, he just hasn't been. Not this year. I know he had the hip pointer. I know he's had the hip pointer and now his foot. And look, we are all sweating on whatever injury report comes out today from Newcastle, because that could be a long-term injury. It may be a moot point when it comes to Kalen Ponga in State of Origin. Okay. But I've got Reece Walsh in at number one. Our back line. Ponga
not win Dalian Player of the Year last year?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. On the back of, 9 games? Which is, again, you could argue that's a pretty good case in point. But that was last year. What we've seen this year, I still think Reece Walsh, even though he's missed a few games, is just the number one for Queensland.
Did Reece Walsh not get his opportunity last year because Ponga pulled out?
Yep. How many players have we seen get an opportunity because of injury?
That's good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. But then Reece Walsh only played, one game, didn't he, because of suspension. And was it injury? No, it was just suspension for Reece Walsh. Backlines are the same. So we won't go through that. Outside of Reece Walsh, outside of the fullback, our backlines are exactly the same. With Holmes, Cobbo in the centres, Taulagi, and the caveat being that there is no Hammer because he is out injured. My pack is a little bit different in the shape of Ruben Cotter to start because he's an 80-minute player. 80-minute player in the front row. I've got Ben Hunt, Harry Grant. I'm either or with those guys, but I think Harry Grant brings more as an injected player rather than, and Ben Hunt being the old wise head can control that first 20 minutes. You didn't have Tom Flegler in your side.
Well, I just don't think Tom will be back from injury. If he's back from injury, well and truly comes into the conversation. There could be a little bit more there with Tommy Flegler's shoulder.
Okay. Well, I have Tom Flegler starting in the front row, and we hope that he is back. I'm pretty sure it is this weekend. He's slated
Just
down.
Just put it out there, Benny. When we come up with these teams, it was Friday afternoon before the weekend sport. So there's a couple of messages coming through that, yes, Ponga's going to play in a moon boot, etc. But, yes.
It would hamper his kicking game, but maybe stepping off that foot. Ruben Cotter, Ben Hunt, Flegler, front row.
Yes.
David Fifita and Jeremiah Nanai as your back row.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is based on, David Fifita, you've been crying out for him to be starting for the Titans, and I think yes, he can make an impact off the bench, but our back row stocks are starting to dwindle when you go, oh, hang on, he's not here. He's not here. So Fifita, Nanai, and Carrigan at 13.
Yep.
My bench then is Harry Grant in the 14.
Yep.
Lindsay Collins to come on and just do what Lindsay Collins does. He is amazing, and he can be that X factor impact off the bench. He's a front rower who can take high balls like a fullback. So he's a freak. I do have Jermaine Hopgood in my 17. He's the fourth person on the bench. But then here I've got the brackets for the fourth bench spot.
Yep.
Corey Horsburgh is due back round 11 now, which seems like a light years away.
Yep.
But Corey Horsburgh is that origin animal that and every team needs a redhead, right?
So, every team needs a redhead.
So Corey, yes, there we go. So, and see, Tom Flegler's kind of strawberry blonde, so I'll leave it at that. But Corey Horsburgh is that. I mean, you just need an animal, don't you? Somewhere, somehow to unleash and just pull the ripcord. If Corey Horsburgh's not fit, Brendan Piakura, who's doing some damage with the Broncos. I know he has been injured.
Set to return this week.
Set to return this week. So that is where my bench goes. Grant, Collins, Hopgood, Horsburgh or Piakura. My 18th man is Kalen Ponga, if fit.
Yeah.
So there's the one. So you've gone, I think the only difference out of the squads, Jaden Sewer, I don't have, and you don't have a Flegler. But
I've got a Flegler. If Flegler's fit and play, absolutely. Flegler's in my side. The switchboard here is lit up like a Christmas tree. Everyone's got an opinion. Keep them coming through.
Jermaine Hobgood for those. And before we go to a break, we'll come back to these texts after the break. Jermaine Hobgood. And because I was weighing up who gets that role, who is the... And because there was a few there. There was a few that you go, well, hang on, does Capewell come into it? Does Josh Kerr come into it from Redcliffe? And it's a name that Jesse Bromwich threw up. Now, I know he's a Kiwi, but he's a teammate, so he's backing him.
We don't take into consideration what Kiwis have got to say about this Queensland side.
But there is a push there for it. But I had a look through the numbers. And Jermaine Hobgood, he's played 7 games this year, and he averages 110 metres a game. 13 tackle breaks, 260 post-contact metres. So when you bust down his numbers, a third of his metres, total metres, are post-contact. So he hits the line and either bends it, breaks it.
Yeah.
And for someone coming off the bench where I've got him, you want that.
Yeah, absolutely you do. But that's why I've got him starting, because he's got such an appetite to work.
Yeah.
Like he can work, he can play long minutes, he's got a great offload, he's got a great pre-line pass, which you need. And I think if they can sort of tag team he and Paddy Carrigan in that area, I think it'd be very dangerous. But
and didn't he come through the Penrith system?
He came through the Penrith system. Wasn't getting an opportunity behind Isaiah Yeo, mind you. Like, he had some pretty fair players ahead of him.
Yeah.
Got an opportunity to play first grade, a limited amount of games for Penrith, and then signed a deal to go to Parramatta, and they're bearing the fruits of him now.
And I'll say it again. He went through the Penrith system. So he's got that ability, that mindset, that roughness, that toughness.
But he's a Queenslander.
Exactly, from Harvey Bay as well. 13 55 0467 736 736. As Cozza said, this is lit up like a Christmas tree, the board, which is outstanding stuff. The Monday means test, we are picking our Origin squads. It's a Queensland pastime at this time of year. We'll get into yours straight after this, 21 minutes past 9. And I were talking in the break, and he was big on getting his Blues team out. And you know what? He's twisted my rubbery arm because, every hero needs a villain. So we do need to know who we're playing against. Before we get into that, Cos, let's have a look at some of these texts coming through. Braden, morning to you. Morning, boys. Sorry, Cos, I agree with Benny. Reece Walsh, number 1, the 18th man, throwing AJ Brimson. Yeah. And that's coming from a Titans man. Now, that's probably based on the fact that Ponga may not be there, depending if he's in that moon boot or not, which another text has come through, no name on it, saying, question for Corey, is Ponga playing?
Yeah, let's be clear. Obviously, if Ponga's not fit, he's not getting picked. That's quite obvious, right?
Yeah. Michael said, morning, boys. Jai Arrow, makes a return this weekend. I reckon Billy will be watching him very closely. He knows Jai what he brings to Origin. Is Jai back this weekend?
He's potentially back this weekend. Yeah.
Okay,
so
I thought he was.
No,
I thought he was long term
surgery to be able to be back. So he will be back this weekend. And I agree. Yeah, Billy will be keeping an eye on him. Absolutely.
See, that throws another one in the mix then, because Jai Arrow he's one of those just hard workers, the one you don't know is there until they're not.
Yes.
So
that's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So Jai Arrow, hey, it's a good shout, Michael. I just didn't realise he was back this early. I thought he was still some time away. Let me have a look here. The Coolum's Goat Farmer. What a time for
best
the
and
computer
worst
to
bolter
freeze up.
Selection of all time. Jamie Burer from the Coolum's Goat Farmer. Well, Jamie Burer only played 1 game, and I think Bob Fulton had a fair bit to do with that. Being at Manly at the time.
Being at Manly, yeah, exactly
I think
right.
he did. I think he had a fair bit to do with Jamie Burer, and it might have triggered some sort of activation in the contract in regards to a monetary bonus.
And that's the thing with our top 5 today. When we say the biggest bolter, they don't have to be good. They didn't have to work out. So is Jamie Brewer in that in that category? 13 55 0467 736 736. All right, Blues team. Cosler.
Blues team. Yeah, here we go. Blues team. A similar situation. Their fullback, obviously James Tedesco, is the captain. And will he or will he not be picked? Well, in my side, I think it's time for change. I think it's time that Madge Maguire went a different way. So my Blues team looks like this. Dylan Edwards has done absolutely everything he can to grab hold and get his opportunity under a fresh start on Madge Maguire as the fullback Tom Travojevic will be on one wing for me. Katoni Staggs in the centres. I think he's had a terrific start to the season. He's terrific last year. Stephen Crichton in the other centres. I think he's just got class and skill. Brian Toto. Now the halves pairing. Big, obviously, talking point. Nico Hines, I think, will get a selection in my team alongside Nathan Cleary. Payne Haas is a lock at number 8. Api Coruscant at number 9. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. Mitch Barnett for me.
Hang on, a little interesting. You've already picked Dylan Edwards. You've boned the Australian captain. But no, a little interesting. Let's go.
Well, the Australian captain, I just go back to that. I just think at different stages he stifles the attack. Runs when he should pass and vice versa. I think there's an opportunity under a new coach that Dylan Edwards can get a go. Take nothing away from Teddy. He's been an absolute warrior, a servant for a long period of time. But I think it's time to move on. Anyway, Mitch Barnett. I love everything about what I've seen from Mitch Barnett, particularly over in the Warriors. He's been a premier, up there with the premier front rows. He's learned a lot off Adam Fanua-Blake. He's aggressive. Play one, play two front rower. He'll bring plenty to that side. Hamolo Olakau'atu, I think, has done enough to get himself into the back row of New South Wales. He's imposing. He's destructive on an edge. He is an aggressive player alongside Mitch Barnett. Liam Martin, I think he's a lock as a back row for the Blues. And then Isaiah Yeo rounds out and locks the scrum.
Yep.
This will leave Cameron Murray for mine on the bench alongside Terrell May. Wonderful job. Has done a wonderful job for the Roosters coming off the bench, posting high numbers. He's got really good late footwork, a terrific offload. I think he can provide a lot for Madge Maguire. Jake Travojevic, because he is just one of those players you must have in your side. Don't look at numbers. Don't look at any of the stats. You just look at what he brings to the team, I think is invariably really valuable. And for me in jersey number 17, Jack Whiten. Ruled himself out last year, potentially ruled himself out through retiring. I don't think that'll be the case. Jack epitomises everything there is to do with Origin. He's been sensational for the Blues. If he makes himself available, I will definitely be picking Jack Whiten and Reece Robson in number 18. However, that is a New South Wales side and no one really cares.
Yeah. I reckon those south of the border will be caring. Blues supporters, you just heard Corey's team. No Teddy, no James Tedesco, no captain. What value and what currency do you put on the captaincy? How much weight does that lean or give you in the selection room? 13 13 55 0467 736 736. At 9:32, Vanessa's tapping a toe. Time to get a news hit. We're back with more of your calls, texts, and we'll run our rule over round 7, the Monday means test here on SENQ.
Well, what are we under? 40 days away from Origin 1? So I thought it'd be a good opportunity, which probably means nothing to most people, but to me it means a fair bit. And to you, Heels, I'll get your take on it, on my Origin teams. So do you want my New South Wales side first or my Queensland side first?
Let's go Queensland.
Okay. So my Queensland team, if I was picking your team today to take on the New South Wales Blues this series.
Or yesterday.
Picking
it yesterday because you've got number 1 in there.
Number 1 for me, Reece Walsh, on the back of obviously Kalen Ponga, who is out. Reece Walsh, number 1. Xavier Coates and Valentine Holmes, 2 and 3. Selwyn Cobbo will get his opportunity in the centres after some great start for the Broncos in the centres. He will play for Queensland. Murray Tuolangi will be on the wing. Halves pairing Cameron Munster, DCE, that's a lock. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Number 8, Lindsay Collins. Number 9, I'm having Harry Grant to start. It's time that Harry, I think, really starts to own this Origin arena. It's a wonderful combination, Harry Grant and obviously what has been with Ben Hunt, but I want Harry Grant to start. I'm putting Paddy Carrigan up into the 10 jersey. I think Paddy, he's a wonderful player. He can play long minutes. The difference between 10 and 13 at the moment, it's very similar.
Yeah, is it? He's still going to defend where he defends.
Absolutely, he is still going to defend.
It doesn't make him a middle or anything like that.
Paddy Carrigan.
Oh, he is a middle though, isn't he?
He is a middle, yes. Jaden Sewer, who has had an outstanding season for the Dragons. He's in supremely fit at the moment. He's aggressive, has played Origin before, a little down on that area. Jaden Sewer at the back, Jeremiah Nane in the back row. Jermaine Hopgood will get the 13 jersey. Great appetite for hard work, as per Pat Carrigan's got a great offload and sleight of hand, very skillful with the ball. Going on to the bench, Ben Hunt, well, he speaks for himself. David Fafita coming on to the bench. He can play in the back row. Ruben Cotter, who obviously can play back row and front row. Again, loves the appetite for work. And Tom Flegler in the 17 jersey.
Well, that'd be nice if he comes back in. So, so you're into, well, first of all, Jaden Sewer, let's go back to him.
Yeah.
What are the qualities that elevate him from a club player to Origin player?
Well, he's played Origin before. He's aggressive. He takes things very personal and loves the contact, loves the physicality, loves to inflict pain. He's in the best form of his career. Yeah. And it's due to the off-season that he's had. He's put on a bit of size, but he's supremely fit. He's been in that arena before. I think he is ripe, ready to go for me. Good.
Would you not... Ruben Cotter has played 80 minutes in Origin.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you start him and maybe have Jermaine Hopgood on the bench?
Well, I think Jermaine Hopgood, and again, this is just my opinion, I think his skill set may be wasted coming off the bench, whereas Ruben Cotter, love how he goes about his business. He just, rip and tear. I think that, as opposed to Hopgood...
Jermaine better be careful. Make a good first up 25 because he won't be getting back on if Ruben goes on.
Yeah. Well, I expect Ruben to go on and play in the middle. Jermaine Hopgood will obviously be in the middle. Paddy Carrigan in the middle. So,
So Tom Flegler comes on for Lindsay Collins, that
Yes.
type of... Where does Fafita fit in? Who comes off for him?
Well, Fafita fits in. I think Fafita could fit in anywhere.
Maybe Sewer.
But, maybe Sewer, maybe Jeremiah Nene. But if not, put Fafita in the middle.
Is there anyone that's been surprisingly overlooked in that team that people say, no, you got to have someone?
Damien has texted in, the putter pest. He said, no, Dane Gagai, are you off your chops? Well, I don't think the form of Dane Gagai at the moment warrants a selection for Queensland, ahead of somebody like what I just mentioned there with Cobbo. I mean, he's made that centre,
Scary.
Very.
Cobbo would be scary. Yeah. But, so there's Gagai, who's been an excellent player. I think it was even last year he sort of vowed to stay loose and be ready if a job came up, and he was there.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I've played Origin with Dane Gagai. He is an amazing Origin player.
He'll be there for Billy if he needs him.
Absolutely, he will be. So...
the trainers can relax. There won't be so much elastoplast needed and thermoskins.
So that's my Origin team. Whether that comes to fruition or not, whether you care about it or not, I don't care. That's my opinion.
What are the qualities of Harry Grant over Ben Hunt? What do you want Grant to do?
They've traditionally used Benny Hunt as to go on and be that battering ram and sort of absorb all that sort of contact early.
It's sparky.
He loves that sort of physicality side of things. But Harry's he oozes class. He's got all that ability to be able to do what he does. I want to see Harry own the Origin arena. I think he's got he's obviously got the potential that he can do that. Whether they tinker with that or not, yet to be seen. But that's sort of my only reasoning of why Harry's starting and Benny Hunt's not. If they go the other way, so be it.
That's a good team. They play against someone, don't they? Who's Queensland playing this year?
Yeah, they play in New South Wales, and there's been a lot of talk. New coach Madge Maguire in there, new coach, and I think there's an opportunity for new change for the New South Welsh team. So here we go. Fullback is obviously the most talked about position for both teams. Teddy, the incumbent captain, the Australian captain. Well, unfortunately, all good runs come to an end, and for me, I haven't got Teddy in my side. I love everything about Teddy. He's played 22 Origins straight. He's been able to be a servant for New South Wales, but it's time that they change tact. I think at different stages, Teddy has really stifled their attack. And I think it may be time. So Dylan Edwards for mine is a player that epitomises everything that you need in the game, particularly Origin. Effort player. He's selfless. He does everything he needs to do. He has a fullback role. He get his opportunity in the sky blue. Tommy Travojevic on the wing for me. I think that speaks for itself. He's got to be in the team somewhere. People may disagree with him being on the wing, but he's got a great... he's good in the air. He's good on the high ball. He gives him the opportunity to swing both sides if he needs to. So that's why I've gone with Tommy.
Queensland probably won't do it, but you could put him under a lot of pressure on the wing, eh?
You could.
Aerial assault and make him go deep.
Well, he's very good up in the air as well. So
okay.
He's a terrific player, Tommy Trbojevic. Katoni Staggs, I think, is in great form off the back of what we saw last year and also this year. An aggressive player, loves contact, that sort of player that you need in the Origin arena. Stephen Crichton, the other centre, who just oozes skill and class. He's come up with some huge plays, big moments in big games. I expect him to be there.
Would he be a captain?
Crichton?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but he's got good leadership
qualities.
at Bullies.
Fantastic leadership qualities.
Righto.
Brian Toto on the wing, for obvious reasons. He just, I think he's solidified that role.
How hard's he to tackle?
He's like a little ball of muscle. And this is obviously where the big talking point comes. Jerome Luai or Nathan Cleary? That was going to be the question. I've gone with Nico Hines. Nico Hines can play down one side of the field. Nathan Cleary will be on the other side of the field, or they both can swing. So that'll be my halves pairing. Payne Haas in the front row alongside Api Coruscant, who I think is a lock at number 9. Here's a debutant for me. I think he's ripe, ready for Origin, and that's Mitch Barnett. Front row for New South Wales. For the Warriors, will get his opportunity, I feel, in my team anyway, for New South Wales. Play 1, play 2, front rower, aggressive, long minutes, has played some very good football last year, started this year terrifically. I wouldn't be surprised if he is picked in Madge Maguire's team. Hamole Olakawatu on one edge and Liam Martin on the other edge. Some very aggressive, destructive ball runners there. Love the contact, love that sort of physicality side. Isaiah Yeo, 13 for New South Wales. I think, that'll be a lock there, which then leaves the bench. Cameron Murray, for me, is one bench spot at 14. Here's another debutant for me, Terrell May.
Righto.
Has been in great form for the Roosters, is a bench player for Trent Robinson, comes on, produces big minutes, a lot of tackle, huge work rate, gets the job done. I wouldn't be surprised if he is in the team there at number 15. Jake Trbojevic, because everyone needs Jake Trbojevic in your side. He just oozes everything you want from a teammate. Never let the jersey down, and I think he'll do a terrific job. Number 17 for me is Jack Whiten. If Jack's available and he makes himself available, he is just he is what Origin is about. Now, Jack's 17 for me because he can play centre, he can play halfback, he can play fullback, he can play front row. It wouldn't matter what you told Jack, go out there and play football, he'd get the job done. So, Reece Robson, number 18.
So you've given Damien Cook away totally.
I have given Damien Cook away totally. I don't think there's an opportunity for him in this series under, when you've got Api Coruscant and Reece Robson and the like.
Yeah,
Wade Egan would be sort of flapping his wings there too. So I don't think there's an opportunity for Damien Cook.
And so Luai, Teddy and Cook, out of your reckoning. You happy? You happy with that?
I'm happy with that. Whether that comes to fruition or not.
No, that's right.
So obviously the big talking points, Dylan Edwards in, no Luai, Nico Hines in. I've got Mitch Barnett in the side, Terrell May and Olakawadu. So a couple of debutants.
And, traditionally New South Wales can get criticised for picking in-form clubbies. You're happy that these can all play Origin?
Yes, okay. I do. I do believe
that's
that
bad
those
news.
Well,
that's bad news for us.
Some people may differ. People have got an opinion on my opinion, and some of them aren't great. So we'll see what happens. Happy with that?
Good contest. Yeah, they're certainly good teams. Mitch Barnett, he's played for New Zealand with Madge, so he can step up and take the Origin heat. You reckon?
I reckon he's suited for the Origin arena, Mitch Barnett.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
Anyway. 13-13-55 if you want to weigh in on my selections, or 0467 736 736 is the text line. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and we'll be back right after this short break.